Salutations, ladies and gentlemen, the Streaming Enderman here, back again with another video. And in today's video, I'll be taking a look at this knife right here. This was bought on, well, it was received on Christmas, so quite a while ago. I'm very late to make this video, but nonetheless, finally going to be getting around to it. This is a Lionsteel, as you can see clearly by the very simple packaging. And this is the BM13EB, which stands for Bestman Ebony. So this knife is a little interesting story behind this. I'd been looking at this knife for a long time, and back around the Black Friday sale, I noticed that this was on for a much more reasonable price than before. This is an expensive knife, and I was really looking into it at that point. So, yeah, I got a good deal on this knife here. This is a twin blade slip joint. There are no locks here. And at first it might look a little bizarre. This is what I like to call, and what almost everyone else in the knife community calls, a modern traditional. So you can see it's got a modern aesthetic with titanium for the bolsters, modern blade steel, and torque screws as opposed to pins, as would be accustomed to most traditional knives. And at the same time, it is a slip joint, and that's a common trait of a traditional. So let's have a look. You've got titanium bolsters, and this is the ebony model. So these are pieces of ebony wood. Very, very nice. You can't really see the grain too well. There we go. There we go. That's picking it up. I mean, look at that. That is really nice. That's some nice wood, to be sure. So, ebony scales, titanium bolsters, and the back springs are crowned. Everything is crowned, actually. The liners, the back springs, everything about this is just buttery smooth. This is by no means an uncomfortable knife. There are a few versions of the Bestman. There is the drop point single blade, there is the clip point single blade, and there is the clip and Wharncliffe two blade. And that's this one. Centering is absolutely spot on. You can see that is perfect right there. No scraping. Blades are just enough apart that they won't be scraping against each other. And this is an ambidextrous knife. There are dual nail nicks on each blade. So let's just open one. You can see there's a nail nick here and a nail nick there. Same for this one. Nail nick here, nail nick there. And there are some very positive half stops in here. Listen to this. Very solid, very snappy. You can see they are perfectly square. The base of the blade is perfectly square, rectangular, and this allows for a very snappy, smooth opening and closing. So let's have a look at the first blade. This one is the clip point. You can see you have Lionsteel's logo, Lionsteel Italy M390. You've got some swedging up here, which adds a really nice look. And there's a very, very, very nice finger choil here. Sorry, not finger choil. What am I saying? Sharpening choil. Sharpening choil. So this would be, for the people who are always complaining about sharpening choils on traditional knives, there you go. If you want one of these, you're getting a very, very reasonable choil. The blade itself is incredibly sharp. This is M390 steel, which takes a really good edge. Of course, there are some people who still think that Lionsteel's M390 heat treatment is garbage, and I'm 90% sure that that was just an overblown issue, and it was fixed very early on. But yeah, the steel, from what I have discovered, is very good. Very nice overall. I do have a couple Lionsteel knives. Of course, there is the collaboration piece here with the Spyderco Spy Opera, which is made by Lionsteel, but it has the same M390 from the same factory, in fact. So this is the exact same blade steel. And, well, this one's held up really nicely, so I presume this one would as well. But that's your first blade. Very, very nice. You can see the transitions are really good, and there is no movement in this blade whatsoever. Let's close that one and have a look at the second blade, which is a Wharncliffe. No markings on this one, just the dual nail nicks and the swedging. Perfectly straight edge. Again, really, really sharp. Makes for an excellent slicer. Really like Wharncliffe blades. And for the people like myself who really enjoy Wharncliffes and clip points, this is very near perfect, because you're getting two really good blade shapes combined into one. The clip point helps with precision work or piercing due to its very fine point. And the Wharncliffe, with its flat edge, is very good for marking and scoring. It's just a very useful blade shape as well. Oh, and one other thing. Transitions are perfect. And there's a tiny bit of movement, but the camera probably can't even pick it up. So it's so minuscule, it wouldn't be an issue. And the thing I like about modern traditionals is you can remove... This is skeletonized, I believe, so do not assume you can completely take this thing apart. It's skeletonized just like this, so the liners are indeed not... Well, you can try to separate them, but you might break the knife in the process. So really, I wouldn't recommend doing that. But the liners are skeletonized titanium in here. And you can take the bolster and cover off, and you can get to the pivot screw, which is right under here. And if a blade is too tight or too loose, you can fiddle around with that until you can suit it to your preferences. But be warned, if you loosen it even a little bit, it might start loosening itself every time you open it. And then you're going to have a whole series of problems, which happened to this. So just be careful. Make sure you don't mess around with the pivot screw too much. But you can do that with either of these blades. So this video is probably going to be a little shorter than some of my videos because there isn't much to say here. It's a simple design. You've got a very boxy profile, skeletonized titanium liners and bolsters, ebony wood, all secured with torque screws. You've got the crowned blades and back spring. You've got the really, really nice blades, well executed. Again, the blade shapes for me are wonderful. Wharncliffe clip. The steel is immaculate, and the craftsmanship is superior. You can see there are stop pins, so no blade chipping going on. And just overall, it's a really nice knife. Now, one question that I was wondering myself, and probably others are, if you get the two-blade model, wouldn't it be more uncomfortable? Because the one-blade model with the clip point looks exactly like this. There is no Wharncliffe, so the bottom is smooth. You'd think that would be comfy, right? And I'm sure it would. So a two-blade knife, especially if the blade's sticking up like this, you'd think would be uncomfortable because you have a blade digging into your hand. I'd say that is the case most of the time. However, because these blades are crowned, which means they are completely rounded and are thus incredibly smooth, you really don't feel any uncomfort when you're holding this. It doesn't matter which blade. It could be the Wharncliffe that's in the closed position or the clip point. They're very comfortable because they're crowned. So if you are hesitant on buying the two-blade one, you were like me and you want the two-blade model, but you aren't quite sure if it'll be as comfortable, take my word for it. Everything about this knife is comfortable. From the crowning to just the way that the blades open, it's a very simple process. It's very satisfying. Everything about the knife just feels good. And I said that about this too. The opening is smooth, the insides are nice and smooth. It's a nice knife to hold. The same thing goes for this. So you may think, oh, that doesn't look very ergonomic. There are no finger grooves, or there's nowhere to put your finger. There's no finger ramp. Trust me, this is a very comfortable knife to hold. And I've used it quite a bit. I've carried it quite a bit. So take my word for it. This is a really comfy knife. A knife I would highly recommend. So, this has been the Lionsteel Bestman 2. Be safe, close it like this. In ebony wood, and this is the two-blade model. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of this knife in the comments. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. And this is the Streaming Enderman, as always, signing off. Goodbye.